What's up, A to Z Sports live on this Tuesday. Happy to have everybody along on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, talking more about the Titans' loss. And we'll play some video from Mike Vrabel's press conference after his Monday presser after the loss to the Giants 21-20. And a specific topic that we teased on the postgame show Sunday night, and we held on to after talking about more important, more pressing issues yesterday in our Monday reaction show. And so now we discuss this on Tuesday about the Titans simply not throwing the ball or feeding the football to their best players in big time moments. And I'm sure everybody will have opinions about the Mike Vrabel video that we'll play from yesterday's press conference here in a second. We'll ask you guys, is this a coaching philosophy thing, or is this kind of who Mike Vrabel is putting it on the shoulders of? And we'll hear the video and watch the video all together here in a few minutes. And then we will break down one of the most crucial plays that cost the Titans the game versus the Giants. It's Tuesday, which means the all 22 film is out for everybody. So we'll break down that from the end zone angle, which I'm sure will bring up some things that Gary says fire Todd. There was a lot of fire Todd downings yesterday across social media on every platform as well. And it is, as Jarrell says, Trivia Tuesdays always make it better. We'll see if that stays the same. Unlike the Titans, we are starting 0-0 right now, hopefully to have a successful week one of our trivia reset. Zach, welcome in. How's everything going?
It's going okay. We're rock and rolling here on a Tuesday, getting everything in line and set up for Trivia Tuesday here later on in the show. And you mentioned all 22 film. That gives me the opportunity to speak on our A to Z Sports Film Room with James Foster. He'll be breaking down many all 22 film throughout the course of this week and weeks moving forward. So we're excited about that. Head on over to YouTube and subscribe to A to Z Sports Film Room. You can go ahead and search that in the tab, and it's easy to find there. We are broadcasting live on 3 different platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So we're hooking up there. We'll tweet out the segments by segment on our YouTube link, and we'll tweet those out at A to Z Sports on Twitter. So you can follow us there and subscribe to our YouTube page and Facebook, the real OGs, the day oneers. We're growing on Facebook, which we always love. We need your friends to share to their friends, to their friends, to their friends. That's how that works. And for you, bottom left corner of your screen, share now to public. Sharing is caring, and caring is sharing on this show. We want you guys to share the show around, and we're ready to get this party started on a Tuesday.
Yeah, and let's give props to Zuckerberg and Facebook. The Facebook notification has been coming out on time so far this season. It's just Tuesday, but they've been better.
Don't jinx us there, big dog.
All right, let's do it officially. Welcome to A to Z Sports, powered as always by the BetMGM app. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Zach Bingham. Make sure you follow us all over social media, as we are Nashville's on-demand sports.network, going live every weekday morning at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Find the links to the show on our Twitter feed, also our Instagram, and then our TikTok as well. But we got to thank our sponsors, because they truly make it happen for us, and they help out you guys. When it comes to Wilson County Hyundai, make them a part of your new car buying process by going to see them in Lebanon, or simply at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Plus, Farm Bureau Health Plans. Get better with Farm Bureau Health Plans. Better coverage, better rates, better service. Learn more about a health plan for you at fbhp.com/ATOZ. And Hughes & Coleman Injury Lawyers, the official injury lawyers of the Tennessee Titans. If you've been injured in a car wreck, give them a call today, 800-800-4600, principal office in Nashville, Tennessee. So, Zach, in the postgame show, you teased something that we were going to talk about this week. Yesterday, we spent most of our energy on Todd Downing and some of the other mishaps of time management, clock management towards the end, but we did not talk about something that you've been wanting to talk about for the last 48 hours or so. But now it is the time to talk about the Titans' weapons and maybe what they're lacking this season on this roster.
Well, people get upset. Titans fans get upset at me all the time because I go back and I bring up the fact that the Titans traded away their most talented receiver that they've ever drafted in the history of the franchise, A.J. Brown, because the negotiations didn't go well. And why the negotiations didn't go well, I think we've we've kind of unpacked that time and time again between low ball offers and a wide receiver who didn't want to play ball at that time before the draft. So John Robinson, Mike Vrabel made the decision to get rid of him. But the fact of the matter is, and I tweeted this out on Sunday because I do watch all the NFL games. I am not a red zone whore. I sit there, I watch every single game of this and every single snap right on my screen on NFL Sunday Ticket. I got 4 screens on my computer. I got one on the TV. I got another TV, and I got a phone that I use. So I watch these games, and I watch it because I love it. But I also watch the Detroit Lions and the Philadelphia Eagles to see what Jalen Hurts was going to do. And that ended up being a shootout towards the end of the game when we were doing post-game. But at the beginning of the game, if you did watch that game, Jalen Hurts was struggling early because he was trying to force feed his number one target from a season ago, that being Devontae Smith, who ended the day with 4 targets and 0 yards and 0 receptions.
Mm-hmm.
Then it clicked. There was a moment in the first quarter where Jalen Hurts found A.J. Brown. And once that happened, he found his reliability. And there were some passes that Jalen Hurts did not throw very well to A.J. Brown, and A.J. Brown still caught them. Then all of a sudden, he started to force feed A.J. Brown the football. And what did that do? That gave A.J. Brown 13 targets off 10 receptions for 155 yards and a long of 54. And the 54 was a hell of a play down the right sideline.
Right.
That all leads me to this. That is nowhere to be found in the Titans offense. It was found when A.J. Brown was wearing two-tone blue. We saw that a lot. And Titans fans, that's why you saw the 11 jerseys all over Nissan Stadium and all over the country when the Titans were playing on the road. But now you have Treylon Burks, who was there to replace A.J. Brown, who did not get 13 targets. He got 5. He caught 3 balls for 55 yards. Good, okay. Robert Woods, the guy you traded for, he got targeted, twice? One was a pass interference late in the game. One was early on in the game. That's not enough. Here's my frustration. Just after 1 week, you trade away because you don't want to pay your most talented wide receiver ever drafted in franchise history, and then you follow up losing to the New York Giants because you can't feed, whether it's Derrick Henry or anybody else, your best players need the football. Look at the bottom of the screen. I made the graphic, just like I do every day. Best players need the football. You traded away one of your best players, and you didn't replace him or throw him the football at any point when he needed the football, whoever that is, against the Giants, and you lost to a team you never should have lost to. That's my frustration.
Right. And G-Man says a tribute show to AJ. Jesus. No, there's no tribute show to AJ Brown. I think these
are factual, cold hard facts, homie. You can sit there and get your panties in a wad all you want, G-Man. No. Don't me. You brought up the comment. I'm going to respond to the comment. He was talking to me. He wasn't talking to you. G-Man, you can get your panties in a wad all you want. But the fact of the matter is, the guy that they traded away dominated on Sunday, and the Titans didn't have a single player that dominated on Sunday. Look, Hilliard was probably the closest guy that got 2 touchdowns, but he wasn't a dominant force throughout the course of the game.
All right, if I could talk on a show that my name's on, that would be appreciated.
Well, you can when you bring up a comment that was directed towards me.
Good Lord, man. So now you won't let me defend you?
I can defend myself. I don't need anybody else to defend
I'm not saying you can't defend yourself. I'm also just breaking up the last 3 minutes of you talking. So anyway, yes, I agree with you, Zach. It is a thing that is now real. After one game and 1 week of the NFL, we see this. But this isn't new to anybody. And even when A.J. Brown was a Tennessee Titan, this philosophy of the Titans was not new whatsoever. Zach, Treylon Burks only had 24 snaps on offense on Sunday against the Giants out of 65. You talked about it yesterday. That's 37% of the offensive snaps. So again, 24 snaps for Treylon Burks in week 1. Let's go back to A.J. Brown's first game as a Titan. 25 snaps against the Cleveland Browns, for A.J. Brown on offense, right? So this isn't a Treylon Burks problem. This isn't a Robert Woods problem. This isn't an A.J. Brown problem. This is a Titans problem. This is how they operate with their young players. They limit their exposure in order to try to protect them, and sometimes it limits what they can do on the football field. And by limiting Treylon Burks snaps to just 24, they limit the amount of big plays they can make, because Cody Hollister isn't going to do a thing for you on 3rd and 4 from the 5-yard line. Why is Cody Hollister on that play? I don't know. As the only wide receiver, put any of the other guys, NWI, Kyle Phillips, Robert Woods, or Treylon Burks on the field in that formation, and you have a better chance of succeeding than Cody Hollister. And that's nothing against Cody Hollister. That's just what he is. And so this is a Titans philosophy. That's why it's so frustrating, because they refuse to just feed their best players the football. Because, Zach, you bring up Jalen Hurts had 18 completions on the day against the Lions. 10 of those, over half of his overall completions, went to one guy, the best player on the damn field. And why the Titans can't just adapt.
Well, they did that with AJ. Right? As a rookie, they did that. That's why he was so successful. That's why he wanted $100 million. So it's not that they never have done it. They have done that before. They have fed AJ when he needed to be fed. And that's the problem. Is I don't know why they've reverted back to, years and years and years. That's what made AJ Brown great.
Well, if you look at AJ Brown's rookie year, his first 4 games of his career, A.J. Brown played 42, 45, 49, and 41% of the offensive snaps. Again, under 50% of the offensive snaps in all 4 of his first games. And finally, he popped over 60%. Then he was at 57. Then he lived in the 60% of the offensive snaps for the next month or so before, at the end of his rookie year, going 94%, 70%, 89%, 83, 91, 100%. Against the Saints that year.
And there's a quarterback change in there.
Right. But the quarterback's the same quarterback now, right? But it's not about the quarterback.
But no, that's the point, is that he was feeding him after Tannehill started after that season. You got to the point where he would feed the best player.
Yes, but it was also after.
That was a Mariota problem earlier.
No. The snaps, the percentage of snaps have nothing to do with Marcus Mariota, right?
Well, trusting your quarterback does.
No, listen to what I'm saying, Zach. The percentage of snaps the wide receivers on the field has nothing to do with the quarterback. It has everything to do with the coaching staff. And we're talking about Treylon Burks and A.J. Brown right here, specifically. It has nothing to do with Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota is not saying, hey, I think A.J. needs to be on the field this snap. No, that's the position coach with the head coach and the offensive coordinator having input in that conversation. And so what the Titans did with A.J. Brown is they brought him along slowly through the first month of his rookie year, and then they increasingly added on to his workload as the year went on. It was kind of in thirds. It was like 40%, a 60%, and an 80+% in the thirds of his rookie career. We'll see if they follow the same suit with Treylon Burks.
So let's go and hear from Mike Vrabel, because this was a conversation from yesterday. And it followed up because Vrabel had his press conference at high noon yesterday and was asked about this, because it is head scratching that some of your premier players that you either spend a draft pick or spending a lot of money on aren't getting the snaps or the targets that I think that we all feel that they need to get.
Yeah, so here's Mike Vrabel yesterday when asked about the lack of targets for Austin Hooper and Robert Woods.
Well, I've been through this, and I've tried to explain it as best as I can to the team specifically. If you're a receiver or you're a tight end or you're maybe not a running back, but if you're out in the route, like all you can focus on is that you get open. And then the quarterback has to determine like where he goes with the football. And, so yeah, we want everybody that's open to get the football. And, is Ryan going to say, yeah, I probably should have to rip the sit to hoop, down there in the high red? Probably. But, I thought we were efficient in the play pass game. We had some of those X plays. We're going to continue to work with Treylon about continuing to run and not, continue his speed down the field as he's trying to locate the ball. I think that came up. But I mean, our young guys played good, man. These guys went out there. We had some rookies that started. I mean, that's the most production that we've had from young guys. Traylon caught the ball well. He blocked. We'll start maybe seeing if he can make somebody miss an open field instead of trying to run them over. But we'll try to get the quarterback to get the guy to the ball that's open. The guy to give him the ball when he's open.
All right, so there's Mike Vrabel yesterday, and I think there was a comment that I wanted to read real quick, and I think it was a good comment. Bobby says, the start of that video makes me think the players are questioning the snap rotation too. Maybe not the snap rotation, but the lack of targets, because let's just play the very beginning of that video again about what Mike Vrabel said about talking to the team.
Well, I've been through this, and I've tried to explain it as best as I can to the team specifically.
To the team specifically. And so it sounds like, and look, I don't think we're reading too much into that comment, right? But it sounds like Vrabel gave us a look inside of, man, Austin Hooper probably wasn't happy that he only got one target or two targets and they weren't to the very end. Robert Woods didn't get traded from the Super Bowl champ LA Rams to come to Tennessee to not get the football. Right when he's healthy and worked his ass off to get back from his ACL tear. So what do you think about that specific part of Vrabel's answer? And then we'll dive into our bigger question here.
Well, yeah. Well, I think you look at the distribution of Titans receivers. I mean, there's a lot of people that got targets. If I can count them up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys got targets. They didn't all have catches.
Nine had catches. The only one without a catch was Henry, I believe.
Was Derek on that swing route, right?
Yeah.
On a very important down in the red zone, be it. But, who's taking away some of those targets, right? Because there's only so much that you can, distribute. You have Cody Hollister that had 1. You had Jeff Swaim that had 4. Hilliard had 4, but he was productive with 3 receptions and 2 touchdowns. So you're not going to knock
that. And he dropped the 4th one, right? The 4th one was a drop that was near the first down marker.
Right. Austin Hooper only had 1. So look, I think that it needs to be a little bit more simplified. But if you listen to Vrabel's saying that that's Ryan Tannehill. Like, Ryan Tannehill's making those decisions out there. He's basically saying it's not my fault. Now, we can tell Ryan to do these type of things, but when the bullets are flying, the guy who is actually holding the trigger is Ryan Tannehill. So he kind of reverted to 17 on that, being that why the best players aren't getting the football. And Austin, here's my whole premise. We don't know who the hell the best players are. We know Derrick Henry is unbelievable, but you have no effing clue if Robert Woods is a dynamic number 1 type wide receiver. We have no idea if Traylon Burks can just completely dominate a guy from quarter 1 to 4. We don't know that. That's the whole point about this particular roster and this particular offense going into game 1, week 1. But here's the thing, Austin. Do you know any more about this offense and the players besides Derrick Henry than you did last week?
I mean, no, because of right. And well, I had a feeling that it would be pretty spread out. But again, we asked the question on our pregame show, who the hell is going to lead this team in receptions and receiving yards? We didn't know, and it could have been 5 different guys. It ended up being Kyle Phillips, right? And Dontrell Hilliard was 2nd. That was a wild card. And Traylon Burks was 3rd. That's the crazy thing about this offense, is that we had no idea because of so many different new faces, but it doesn't mean they're bad. I think they're pretty good. I think Kyle Phillips and Traylon Burks are pretty good. I think Dontrell Hilliard's a really good backup running back to Derrick Henry, the best backup running back they've had to Derrick Henry since they've had Derrick Henry as the lead guy, right? And then Robert Woods and Austin Hooper, that's the biggest mystery to me, because I watched training camp with my 2 eyes that I'm looking at you guys right now with, that I don't understand why I saw Austin Hooper so regularly targeted in full team drills during scrimmage settings against the Patriots and the Cardinals and joint practices and he got one target and it wasn't to the last drive of the damn game. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. It made sense to me when Kyle Phillips got targets in the 2-minute drill at the end because I saw that in camp. But why was Austin Hooper not involved at all? And so that's where I want to get to this question and get everybody else more involved here.
No. I've got one thing before this question, because we talk about best players needing the football. Look at everybody else. Look at the rest of the league. I'm going to go down. Look at the rest of the damn league. The Titans are sitting here trying to figure out if it's Kyle Phillips or if it's Treylon Burks or if it's Robert Woods. But if you look at the rest of the league, Cooper Kupp had 128 yards receiving with the Rams, best player. Mike Evans, leading receiver with the Bucs at a touchdown, best player. Jarvis Landry, the guy they got from the Saints, best player. You've got Jamar Chase. They had 129 yards receiving and a touchdown, best player. A.J. Brown, we already talked about. Tyreek Hill had 8 receptions for 94 yards, best player, $30 million player. Even, and this pains me to say this, even Corey Davis led the Jets with 77 yards. They're paying him to be their best wide receiver. Christian Kirk, who shook up the entire offseason, had 117 yards receiving on 6 receptions. He led his team. I mean, it goes on and on. Michael Pittman Jr. for the Colts, Justin Jefferson, Travis Kelce, Devontae Adams had 102 and a touchdown. I'm literally listing, and these are all facts. This is my problem with this conversation on the Titans. I just listed all of the leading wide receivers on those respected teams. They're all superstars. They're all the guys that are supposed to do that. And then you look at the Titans stat line and it's Kyle Phillips. That's a problem, right? That's a glaring problem.
Yeah. All right, so let's ask this question because it's based off of what Mike Vrabel said. Whose fault is it that the Titans don't throw to their best players? Is it the coaching philosophy or the quarterback? And we'll play some of the video again from Mike Vrabel there. But whose fault is it the Titans don't throw to their best players, the coaching philosophy or the quarterback? But first, Zach, tell everybody about Farm Bureau Health Plans.
Yeah, FBHP.com is where we need to go and where you need to go to get your new health plan. I got my new health plan at the beginning of this year. Plan on the use of health, dental, and vision. That's the best part about Farm Bureau Health Plans. 200 plus locations across the state of Tennessee. They got you hooked up, and they hooked me up with great health plans, whether it's a contact allowance, free teeth cleanings, or a lower rate, better coverage, better rates. And the best part is it means something. Like Farm Bureau Health Plans have been around for 75 years. It's not just your average rando health plan. This is something that means something to the community, to the state, and to you because you can save some money on your coverage. That's FBHP.com/ATOZ.
Also, the BetMGM app, baseball is still going on and it's midweek, so there's no football happening right now. So you can still take advantage of some great offers that BetMGM has for existing users, including Major League Baseball one-game parlay insurance, which means if you make a Major League Baseball one-game parlay of 4 legs or more and you miss it just by that last pesky leg, no big deal. You get up to $25 back if it falls 1 leg short with Major League Baseball one-game parlay insurance with the BetMGM app. So Zach, I'm going to have you go check out the chat, but we're going to play the video from Mike Vrabel one more time. And the question that we are asking all of you guys is whose fault is it that the Titans don't throw to their best players, coaching philosophy or the quarterback, based off of Mike Vrabel's answer here yesterday?
Well, I've been through this and I've tried to explain it as best as I can to the team specifically. If you're a receiver or you're a tight end or you're maybe not a running back, but if you're out in the route, like all you can focus on is that you get open. And then the quarterback has to determine like where he goes with the football. And, so yeah, we want everybody that's open to get the football. And, is Ryan going to say, yeah, I probably should have to rip the sit to hoop, down there in the high red? Probably.
So there's some of Mike Vrabel yesterday going through. He ended up talking about the good things that the young guys and Treylon Burks and Kyle Phillips did. But so I'm going to go to the comment section. The question we're asking, whose fault is it that the Titans don't throw the ball to their best players? Is it coaching philosophy or is it the quarterback? Anthony says both. Mike says Tannehill is trash. Moj says Downing. Rodney says the best thing Ryan Tannehill did was not throwing a pick, which, I don't disagree with that. Then let's see. Paulie D says fault offensive coordinator and quarterback. So Nate says coaching. Let's see. Ryan says hot take. The Titans called a conservative game plan, not utilizing their big time playmakers in an attempt to not show their true strengths against a subpar Giants team. Like, Ryan, I just don't think that's how that works in the NFL. I think when, SEC team or Big Ten team plays against Group of Five or FCS opponent, yes, that's absolutely the take there, but not when it comes to the NFL. There's no way anybody can afford not putting a good game plan out there against an NFL team because they know how this works. And that's definitely not how Mike Vrabel operates. Steven says coaching philosophy. Bruce says coaching. Let's see. Lee says that's because of bad personnel management. If Burks plays the whole game, I'm sure he has almost 100 of 100 yards. And so, on Lee, his comment there, I asked Sam to check in on the personnel groupings. And so what we learned yesterday is that position coaches are in charge of their rotation at their positions. And I think it's mostly important when it comes to the wide receivers and the tight ends, and mainly the wide receivers, because it's probably the most rotational position in the NFL, because guys can't play 100% of the snaps, just like Lee said. They'll get gassed and they won't be effective and productive. But Treylon Burks only played 24 snaps, which was 37%. And they're limiting him, obviously, just like they did A.J. Brown when he was in his first game as a rookie. But I expect that to grow, the percentage for Burks to grow, especially if he showed the Titans enough on tape that he can handle that workload there. But that is a position coach duty, is to manage the rotation on their specific position. And Orlando says, so was he gassed? No, not necessarily. Again, it's the first game of Treylon Burks' NFL career. And literally he played one less snap in week one than A.J. Brown played in week one of his rookie season. A.J. played 25 snaps against the Browns. Burks played 24 snaps against the Giants. So to me, that tells me that's their philosophy on how they handle rookie wide receivers in their first game.
That's what needs to change.
Oh, I agree. I'm not saying I agree.
Just because that happened doesn't mean that it's right.
No, again, I don't want me stating what I know their philosophy to be as me agreeing with it. I'm just stating that's what their philosophy is telling us.
But what I'm telling you is the philosophy is wrong. It's dead ass. It's dead ass. That's my issue is, don't you want to find a diamond in the rough, right? Don't you want, or the diamond that you pick to sparkle? But he cannot sparkle if he's not on the field catching footballs and being targeted. And, Vrabel's sitting there blaming it on Tannehill, just like, the day before when Tannehill was asked about the time management thing. Tannehill's been there like, well, you got to have to ask Vrabel. We're in this, he said, she said, oh, you ask them, he asked her. We got to find some answers. Like, what's going on? Why are you guys not throwing to your best players? And it may be because they don't know who their best players are.
I mean, I think they know who their best players are.
I don't think if you don't, I don't, and the chat doesn't, how the hell do you think that they do?
I think the Titans know who their best players are.
Besides Derrick Henry, who?
Zach, they've been coaching this team for freaking months. What are you talking
about?
Why
don't they give the best players the ball?
I don't disagree. Zach, it's I'm agreeing with you. I don't know why you're coming after me.
No, I'm asking the question.
Well, you're coming after me like I'm disagreeing with you, like you're interrogating me on why I'm not on your side. I
don't know if they know. The reason why I'm saying what I'm saying is I don't know if they know who their best players are.
Zach, they know who their best players are. They've gone through the entire offseason and training camp and preseason. They know who their best players are. It's just they're too freaking stubborn to think that they need to give their best players the football instead of running their scheme. This is the classic example of overcoaching. I'm going to pull a quote from Delaney Walker back in the Mike Mularkey days. Remember when Delaney, at that point, a Pro Bowl tight end for the Titans, said in the locker room that pissed off a lot of people, said sometimes players have to overcome coaching. Right now it feels like the Titans' best players are being forced to overcome coaching because their coaches are putting the clamps on them. Like the coaches are putting the governor on the go-kart so they can't go as fast as they want to go. Now, is it because they're being overprotective parents? Maybe, and they're scared about their 13-year-old son driving a go-kart 50 miles an hour? Yeah, but I feel like they're being a little overprotective parents here. Let your stud guys that you drafted in the first round go out and be first-round draft picks. Zach, I said what? A.J. Brown played 25 snaps in his first game as a rookie in 2019, which was 42% of those snaps. Let's go to Justin Jefferson, who we love. We love to compare the Justin Jefferson impact as a rookie. He played 70% of the Vikings snaps in his first game ever in the NFL. So tell me this is not a Titans problem. This is a Titans problem. They're being overprotective parents. They've been doing this ever since Mike Vrabel took over as head coach. They protect their young guys. And sometimes, and I think this year, their young guys are probably some of their best players. Roger McCreary's not being protected because he gained their trust early. Treylon Burks, if he shows up in shape in May, is he still being protected like this? I don't know. But, I mean, they protected AJ the same way.
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, it's a parent problem.
But AJ also had summer conditioning / injury issues as well.
Right. Yes. I just don't. So here, all right. So we've talked about the coaching staff and what they need to be accountable for. Austin, where's Ryan Tannehill in this? Because I agree with the chat. I agree with the answers that were spoken, right? I do believe that it is a coaching thing, but I don't think it's 100%. Vrabel is not incorrect when he says
no.
Ryan Tannehill is the guy that's throwing the football.
No, he is correct when he says the job of the pass catchers to get open, and then it's up to the quarterback to throw the ball where the quarterback goes. Like Mike Vrabel's not wrong in that statement, but there is something that you can do and say, look, it's 3rd and 8. You need 9 yards. You go to your best guy. I don't care how closely he's guarded. And so you ask a question, which is a follow-up. Where does Ryan Tannehill fit in this? And to me, I give Ryan Tannehill the benefit of the doubt in this area because I've seen Ryan Tannehill go to A.J. Brown nearly every time on Thursday Night Football against the San Francisco 49ers. I saw Ryan Tannehill in the 2-minute drive on Sunday against the Giants go to the guy he trusted in that situation in Kyle Phillips like 4 times on that drive.
That's not the best player though.
No, but in that situation, and again, you weren't at training camp, which is fine, but in that situation, the countless quick speed outs that Kyle Phillips caught in 2-minute drill situations in training camp on both sides of the ball was phenomenal. Quick out, catch, out of bounds, move the chains. It was just rinse and repeat throughout the entire month of August in those practices. And so that made sense to me. What didn't make sense to me is why Austin Hooper was not targeted with intention by the play call and the quarterback in moments like that. And same thing with Robert Woods. But we've seen Ryan Tannehill force feed A.J. Brown because he was the hot hand in big moments and in games. He did it against the Bengals. He did it against the Niners. And then he did it with Kyle Phillips in that 2-minute drill. So I believe in Ryan Tannehill's ability. I just question what he's being told. And when Burks is only out there 37% of the time, you can't throw him to him that often.
No, you can't. And, the play has to be right. He could be out there on a running play. That play is now obsolete in his opportunity to catch the football, right?
Look, and the 2 other targets that Burks had that were incomplete, they were both go routes, right? And Mike Vrabel was also correct in that Treylon needs to remember to learn to continue and increase his speed through the route and when the ball is in the air, which he kind of motored down in both of those situations. Yes, there could have been a PI called on the 1 deep ball, which would have changed things a lot. But that was one of the incompletions that Burks had. If Burks had 3 catches, 55 yards on 4 targets, and drew a 40-yard PI. You feel a lot better about Treylon Burks after that game with his limited reps.
Yeah, and I think that's the overall point of this conversation is that the Titans, now that they're 0-1 and they're about to play the best team in the NFL, which is the Buffalo Bills, at least at this point in the season, and then they got the Raiders on the other side of that, they have to figure out who their best guys are. That's kind of my whole issue. The Kyle Phillips thing you explained eloquently, that's fine. That's confirmed. That's all fine and dandy. But quarter 1, 2, and 3, in particularly 3, right? Because this is what really good teams do in the NFL. They extend, and they figure out how they can extend. If you're up 13-0 and you get the ball to start the second half, good teams figure out how to get their playmakers the ball early to all of a sudden you're up 20-0. That is, and okay, that doesn't happen. 3 and out, you punt, you get the ball back. That next series, you have another opportunity to at least extend your lead back to 13 points, what it was. That didn't happen. They let the Giants creep back in. And I think, Austin, and you probably won't like how I phrase this, I don't think that they know yet who their best players are, that they can do that. Notoriously, they don't do that anyway, but they don't know who their A.J. Brown is. It should be Treylon Burks, but maybe it is Austin Hooper. Well, they don't know that because they didn't target him. It could be Robert Woods. Oh, well, they don't know that because he was only targeted twice, right? So that it's the infancy of the season that also hurts the Titans' philosophy, which we all agree with is not very good when it comes to targeting your best players.
Yeah, and so to go on the Treylon Burks things, because another thing that didn't surprise me at all about Treylon Burks, and Mike Vrabel said it at the end of the video we've played a couple times, is that Burks needs to know how to learn how to make somebody miss in the open field instead of running them over, which he did that twice. He ran over people in the open field, I guess all 3 times that he caught the football instead of trying to elude. But that's when the Titans do their open field tackling drill. Treylon Burks makes 0 jukes. He picks his direction he's going, and he runs as fast as he can in that direction.
That's kind of the player Burks is.
Yes, he does. He does not care about juking. 0 jukes. And it's weird to see Mike Vrabel, who is big outside linebacker, edge rusher, part-time tight end, being like, yeah, he needs to be more jukey. Because Treylon Burks never made a move to like that. It was always physical, put his shoulder through the defender and gain more yards that way. So that didn't surprise me from what I saw in training camp either. But we bring up all of this, and we're about to get to a crucial play that cost the Titans. And the play before the crucial play we're about to break down, it was a designed play for one guy. And it feels like one of the only, I'll say correct. Like the Robert Woods catch on the first drive was designed play action, hit a bangs play action route over to Robert Woods quick. That was designed, right? But it doesn't feel like the Titans just draw up a lot of plays for specific guys in general plays. But when it was 2nd and 9 in the fourth quarter, the Titans were on their own 33. They ran a screen to Jeff Swaim. And so if Jeff Swaim gets his 4th target of the game on a designed intentional screen pass for him, that makes me frustrated. Just simple as that. I get that sometimes you run the Jeff Swaim screen because that's hard to say, because nobody's expecting it to happen, because why would you do that? And he gained 8 yards to set up 3rd and 1. It's a big 3rd and 1. We're about to talk about it. But if that's anybody else, they probably pick up the first down. If it's Chig, if it's Hooper, they get more than 8 yards on that screen because Jeff Swaim is just not dynamic at all when the ball's in his hands.
Yeah, and look, I think the offensive coordinator, this goes to Todd Downing. I don't know what his play sheet, how his play sheet is designed, but he should have plays designed for players. you shouldn't always call plays designed for players. There's a flow of the game. There's a script. Like there's nuance, but he needs to go to the Traylon Burks, Robert Woods, Austin Hooper line of his play sheet and pick more of those.
And the Jeff Swaim list should be very limited.
I should be in the bottom right corner, right? It should be like it should be brown. It shouldn't be neon green or red. Right?
I am totally okay with the Jeff Swaim screen in the second quarter when the game still has a lot to go, right? Because it's not a bad thing. Like you can keep people off balance by running a screen to your slow tight end and maybe gain some yards that you can, that are free yards basically. But that's just about it. So let's get to the crucial play because Jeff Swaim was tackled 1 yard short of the first down marker, and it set up a very important, crucial play that the Titans messed up, which was the Chigakonkwo end around. And we've got the all 22 footage of that. So we're about to break down that Chigakonkwo end around just to make everybody a little bit more upset. There's multiple people to blame here on this, and a couple of people to blame on this play are highly paid. So we'll get to that, but first let me tell you guys about our new sponsors, Hughes and Coleman. They are the official injury lawyers of the Tennessee Titans, and when you've been injured in a car wreck, you need to find a team that will fight for you. The team at Hughes and Coleman Injury Lawyers will lay it all on the line and handle the insurance company, make sure you get the most money possible. They've literally recovered over $1 billion for their clients across the state of Tennessee and in Kentucky, and will fight to get you every dollar you deserve. If you've been injured in a car wreck, you need to call Hughes and Coleman now. Don't wait, because when you call, you get a free case consultation for Hughes and Coleman at 800-800-4600, the official injury lawyers of the Tennessee Titans. That's 800-800-4600, principal office in Nashville, Tennessee.
A to Z Sports were powered by BetMGM. Use that promo code ATOZ Sports, the king of the sports book. They're hooking you up. 1 game MLB parlay insurance. Get $25 back on any Major League Baseball 1 game parlay of 4 legs. So if one of your legs of your 4-leg parlay doesn't hit, that's where you get a $25 free bet back on BetMGM. BetMGM also had some risk-free bets that I took advantage of last night. I'll be honest, I lost my risk-free bet of $50 because I did think that the Broncos were going to win that game. They did not because of poor coaching at the end of that game. But the best part about BetMGM is I didn't lose $20. $50. Like I lost on Austin Hooper, I got this money back. I have a free $50 bet. So I'm back in the game, getting ready for week 2 of the season. Download the BetMGM app today.
All right. So the play that we're about to break down was the Chigakonkwo end around. So I just told you it was the play directly after Jeff Swaim had his screen pass that gained 8 yards. So it's 3rd and 1 at the Titans 41-yard line. There is 6:26 left on the clock. The Titans are up by a touchdown, 20-13. And so we're going to be able to watch this play several times. But initially, here's the first look at it as Tannehill motions Chig in behind the guard, and then just nothing doing. I mean, there were 3 Giants players ready on the outside, ready for that. And so as we watch this several times, Zach, I want you guys because Taylor Lewan got heat on this too for missing the block. So Lewan has 93 immediately cut inside of him, that if Lewan makes that block, maybe Chig has a better option. But it looks like Lewan, with his first step of jumping outside, was not expecting 93 to go up the field as aggressively as he did.
Well, and look, that's football, right? You don't know what the other guy's going to do before the snap. Till the snap happens, that's when you have to read and adapt. So that is on Lewan. And then there's also good defensive plays. We saw TJ Watt before he tore his pec. He made a ton of good defensive plays. He gets up, right? Yeah. So he didn't go where he thought he was going to go. That's exactly right.
Because it looked like Lewan was trying to set the edge with his hop at the very beginning of that. And then NWI, who is the receiver who starts outside the screen, he comes down for a crackback block And 49 would be the person that you would want to block here. And NWI completely missed on him, right? And so there's 2 missed blocks here.
He tried to block 48, right? Who actually came in there and cleaned up the
right.
pile
But again, like 49 is the most dangerous person. It's 93, 49, and 59 are the 3 dangerous people in this, right? And I again, if LaJuan makes his block, then MWI still missed his. If LaJuan makes his
really
block,
bad. I mean,
everything's terrible about this. So if LaJuan makes his block and if NWI makes his block, it's still 2-on-1 because 59's right there and Adoree Jackson 22's right there on the outside. And Adoree Jackson, for as much heat as you want to give Adoree for his career in Tennessee, he plays this perfectly. Watch how Adoree at 22 comes in and sets the edge from a corner standpoint and dives in there with his left shoulder, keeping his shoulders parallel and making Chig go inside. That is picture perfect from Adoree Jackson. So all of this is terrible. It's the worst execution, but also a terrible play call. And let me add one more thing, and it's Derrick Henry. This might be the laziest I've ever seen Derrick Henry look in my entire life. Watch Derrick Henry in his play fake. He barely even does it. He basically watches Chig during this. That's the laziest I've ever seen Derrick Henry in my entire life. It's really bad. So everybody messed up this play, but the play shouldn't have been called in the first place.
That was a bad play call on a crucial down.
Yeah, 3rd and 1. Again, like I said yesterday, 3rd and 1, you have 1 yard you have to gain to continue to ice the game where you have a touchdown lead. Quarterback sneak that thing because I'll show it again. I mean, there are so many guys in the box right there, like 10 of them, 20 creeps in the box. There are 10 dudes right there in the box for the Giants.
Oh, 59 and 48 though are probably queuing on. If you look, they're coming up to the line of scrimmage probably for the sneak.
No, they're coming up there for Henry. And because if you look at it and we can't pause it really, but there's a lot of gaps there for
But look at what they're trying to fill.
But they still and we're seeing the end zone camera, Zach. There's still like 4 yards of space between Ben Jones with the ball and then the linebackers at linebacker depth. So the sneak, you just need the 1 yard. And Tannehill is really good at that. He's 6'4", and he's a good athlete. And he's strong.
Where are they on the field? What's the
their own 41-yard line? So you're approaching midfield.
Yeah, but you're not in 4-down territory in any route.
No, because you still have a touchdown lead. You're going to punt the ball there. Why you do the play that they ran makes no sense to me. It's either you hand it off to Derrick Henry, because if you hand it off to Derrick Henry and you get stuffed, then good job, Giants defense, right? It's the Giants beat you on that play and you poorly executed, but it was nobody has a problem with the call to give it to King Henry on that. If you run a quarterback sneak, you have like a 95% chance of getting that yard.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it all of Tom Brady's career. He gets that 1 yard. Drew Brees gets that 1 yard. I mean,
Ryan Tannehill
has gotten that 1 yard, right?
Yes.
So that's a bad play call.
Terrible. It's terrible. Crucial moment. And then, like I heard Buck talking about this on the Zone yesterday and also on Primetime talking about Todd Downing, about how, the Todd Downing hate didn't really get turned up until the Cincinnati game, where you just saw limited play calling and limited play design from Todd Downing. But
he was there last year. And maybe we're too close to the situation.
No, but for me, I have been complaining about Todd Downing's situational play calling for the entire time. The entire time. It's been goal to go situations or clear down and distance situations with just boneheaded decision-making, just bad decision-making in key situations for Todd Downing through his now 19 games as Titans play caller.
And so we touched on the Chig play that we all agree was probably not the right play, right? Didn't work out. Bad play call in that particular time. I don't have a problem with the Wildcat. I thought that was just a dropped football. And we've seen Derrick Henry catch that ball clean in the Wildcat and get a yard. So I do. That is my opinion on that particular play. That was just a non-executed play. And unfortunately, that happens. Now, we just saw there's a lot of non-execution on that tight end, but the scheme or the idea of that play, I don't like in that situation. The Wildcat with Derrick Henry catching the football and going up 1 yard, you're setting yourself up, I think, for success to gain a yard. It's just that he dropped the football. But that was also a crucial down.
Yeah, and I see, Marvin says, why not use Malik Willis on the Wildcat? Well, it's because when Malik Willis enters the game, everybody goes, oh, what's happening? In this situation, it was 3rd and 1. Tannehill's on the field and motioned out to the wide side, and the defense was already lined up.
But so hey, I think it's too early for me to go all in on this. Yeah, but who commented this?
I believe that was Marvin.
I do think that I would like to see Malik Willis lined up next to Derrick Henry, and Malik Willis is a more athletic person or player than Ryan Tannehill. He's not a better football player at this point in his career, but I would love to see Malik Willis in the shotgun with Derrick Henry and doing a zone read option to make that decision, because Malik Willis has done that in his career a long time. That game one is probably not the game to do that. So I'm not sitting here preaching saying that should have happened, but I would like to see that this year.
But so is Ryan Tannehill. And so when Ryan Tannehill is in the shotgun next to Derrick Henry, the defense has to play honest. When Malik Willis comes in the game on a specific snap, because he's not starting, right?
You still have to play honest. You got two really athletic,
hold on. I'm not done talking yet. I'm not done talking yet. When Malik Willis is the starter, then yeah, then you have to play honest. But if Malik Willis comes off the bench for Ryan Tannehill, everybody's eyes open and start head on a swivel. Like, all right, what's going to happen? And what's the defense do? If it's a 3rd and 1 and Malik Willis comes in the field, and you've got a shotgun with Derrick Henry and Malik Willis, all the Giants guys are going to creep right up there, and they're going to say, all right, Adoree Jackson, all right, other corner, lock him up one-on-one. Safety's coming up to help this, because I'm going to let Malik Willis go one-on-one down the field in this situation. I'll let Malik Willis beat me there. I'm not going to let Malik beat me with his legs. If Ryan Tannehill's on the field, the safeties can't do that. That's the point here, is that when Malik Willis right now, he is a gadget player, and you have to be able to set up your gadgets to have success.
If you have a coach that schematically can put players in positions to succeed, all of what you say, I'm not disagreeing with it as far as what Malik Willis can do, but a great scheme can beat a good defense on its heels. And that's what Malik Willis does to defenses. It puts them, as you said, their antennas are up, and they're a little bit confused on what could happen, because there is a threat. Malik Willis can throw the football. It's not like it's Derrick Henry throwing the football, right? He can throw the football. He is a quarterback. We saw that. It's not time yet, but I would love to see that this season. I don't know, maybe week 14, but I would love to see that this season.
So Prawley on YouTube says, why is Austin acting like Malik Willis can't possibly throw the ball? No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that NFL coordinators and defensive coaches, when they see Malik Willis in there, like, why is Malik Willis being put in there? Because of his legs. In this situation, right? His legs are the reason why he's on the field in this situation. And so they are more willing to say, okay, corners, you guys can go one-on-one, and we can live with Malik Willis making a play with his arm down the field. We can't live. It's on us, the defensive coach, if you allow Malik Willis to make a play with his legs.
If you have a game breaker, and people are going to get pissed, but if you have a game wrecker like A.J. Brown or somebody on the outside, or Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase, now everything makes it more difficult, because your matchup that you were saying that, okay, have the corners, wouldn't you rather have A.J. Brown one-on-one coverage with a corner, right?
Yes. Yes.
So, but that's the difficult part. You took that away.
Well, but again, and so Jarrell, thank you, Jarrell. He goes, I think it's ridiculous. You have to explain that, Austin. Thank you, Jarrell. I appreciate people who understand what I'm trying to say here, because I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job of making it clear. All right. So, all right. A to Z Sports here live on this Tuesday. Zach, let's get to our Tuesday sports trivia here on the show. We are resetting back 0-0 with Tuesday sports trivia. But first, tell us all about Wilson County Hyundai.
Yeah, Wilson County Hyundai is where you need to go to get your next ride. That's wilsoncountyhyundai.com. They've got the Palisade, which is their full-size SUV, third row seating, all the bells and whistles. They also have the four-door sedan like the Sonata, the Elantra, the Ioniq, which is battery-powered. Your perfect make and model is a Hyundai. You've just got to find which one. That's at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. They can order one right off the internet, or you go there and test drive one today. Both Austin and I have test driven those vehicles at Wilson County Hyundai. We love Wilson County Hyundai. If you're in the market for a car, make sure that you visit wilsoncountyhyundai.com.
Also, BetMGM, don't forget Major League Baseball one-game parlay insurance. It's pretty easy on that. You get up to $25 back if your Major League Baseball one-game parlay of 4 legs or more falls just 1 leg short. So you can live with the play another day, just like Zach explained earlier in the show. But Major League Baseball one-game parlay insurance, opt into that feature right now with the BetMGM app. Visit betmgm.com for terms and conditions. 21 or older, Tennessee only. All promotions subject to qualifications, eligibility requirements. Rewards issued with knowledgeable for business credit for the next inspired 7 days. For problem game support, call Tennessee Redline 800-889-9789. Time for some trivia. All right, Zach. 0-0, starting over. So let's get it rolling with our Tuesday sports trivia.
All right. First one up. Let's see here. We've got the NFL, and we're going to find out about the 2000s, a lot about the 2000s. Let's start here. The Oakland Raiders earned the number 1 overall draft pick in the 2007 for their dismal 2-14 season. Which team had the second worst record in the NFL? So 2007, they drafted. Is that Jamarcus Russell?
No, because this is the 2008 draft. That
Correct.
was not. Was that Jamarcus Russell? Yes.
Oakland Raiders,
the
number
Lions.
1 overall draft pick.
Lions, Calvin Johnson.
Is that Calvin Johnson?
Yes, Jamarcus, then Calvin Johnson. Is that right? Do you guys want to back me up on that, chat? Because Donald says Detroit final A to Z. Yeah, we're getting some Lions. Yeah, okay. So let's lock it in. Detroit Lions final A to Z.
The correct answer, the Detroit Lions, led by John Kitna.
Yeah, because they drafted Calvin Johnson too. Then that was when they went 0-16 in that season. The Titans beat them in 2008 on Thanksgiving Day. Then they draft Matt Stafford number 1 the next year.
All right. Next up, this is seconds. This is who was second? Who came in second? This is a good theme. Andre Johnson of the Texans was the only wide receiver to catch 100 passes in the season. Who was the runner-up with 98? And this is, it doesn't give me a year.
Yeah,
though,
I was going to say, what?
Let me see here. 2006. So that is the year. So Andre Johnson of the Texans in 2006 was the only wide receiver to catch 100 passes in a season. Who was the runner-up with 98?
Ooh, there's some good answers here. So John says Reggie Wayne. Spin says Randy Moss. I don't think it's Randy Moss because in 2006, that would be Oakland Raiders Randy Moss, right? And that didn't go very well. Brandon Marshall, I think that's too far ago with Brandon Marshall. Marvin Harrison for Bobby is a good one. Hines Ward, Terrell Owens. I think Reggie Wayne or Marvin Harrison's the right answer. But I feel like in 2006, it was the flip of Reggie Wayne 1, Marvin Harrison 2.
Yeah, because they did have that flip.
Because 2006, right? Is that the Super Bowl year for the Colts? We're getting a
versus
lot
the
more
Bears.
Marvin. We're getting a lot more Marvin Harrisons, and now we're getting some Ocho Cincos.
What are we going to lock in?
Do you want to help? Do you want to make the difference maker? Because my mind is pretzeled right now on this. I think it could be Reggie Wayne, Marvin Harrison, or Ocho Cinco.
Narrow it down to 2.
Chad or Reggie.
Let's do the old NFL draft coin flip. NFL Las Vegas, that is Ocho Cinco. The back of it, who's your other guy?
Reggie Wayne. Let's go Reggie Wayne final A to Z. I'm switching it. I'm not believing in that fate. Let's go Reggie Wayne final A to Z. Dang it. Who is it?
Not even close.
Okay,
We didn't.
good.
Not a single person got this. Not that I didn't follow the chat as close as you did. Mike Fury of the Detroit Lions,
Oh my God.
of one of few highlights of their 3-13 field, it was hooked up with John Kitna, who we just mentioned.
I remember that. I forgot about that guy. That was back when I used to play fantasy football, and I had him then.
Mike Fury.
Oh,
That was a tough one.
that was tough. All right, 1-1.
Back to 1992. Who's the 1992 Defensive Player of the Year in the NFL? Who was in 1992 the NFL Defensive Player of the Year? I do have some multiple choice, so this
Okay,
could
good.
make it.
So it hit me with it.
Cortez Kennedy, Troy Vincent, Derek Thomas, or Greg Lloyd? 1992 NFL Defensive Player of the Year. Cortez Kennedy, Troy Vincent, Derek Thomas, or Greg Lloyd?
Titans Kyle says Cortez Kennedy. I don't know who that is. So my thought was Derek Thomas.
It's not Troy Vincent. He was
too young. Titans Kyle says Cortez Kennedy, lock it in. Let's just go Cortez. Titans Kyle, this is all on you, buddy. Titans Kyle says Cortez Kennedy, final A to Z.
part of the 1992 Seattle Seahawks team that finished 2-14. Their defense was actually rather respectable. Cortez Kennedy won the 1992 NFL Defensive Player of the Year award that year.
On a 2-14 team?
That's pretty impressive.
Damn. All right. Good job, Titans Kyle. 2-1.
All right. Back to seconds. The San Diego Chargers offense blew out the league by scoring 492 points during this season. The Colts of Indianapolis were tied for second with 427 points. Which team did the Colts tie? So I guess this is 2006.
That's what I was going to say, 2006, because that was when LT had his touchdown record.
Correct. So the Chargers were first. The Colts tied with another offensive scoring second place team. Who was that team?
So my thoughts were going to be the Seahawks, because that was the height of Sean Alexander. There's some Patriots answers here. There's some Rams answers here. I think the Rams' greatest show on turf had already started to deteriorate because Kurt Warner was gone. Because he was already in New York there. The Bears, though, were good that year with Rex Grossman. They scored a lot of points. We're getting Patriots.
I mean, it's tough during any of that era. It's always, the Patriots were always dominant.
But this is one of the years where the Colts got them, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was the year in Indy where
I say we probably should go Patriots. That's been the most popular answer in the chat.
you want to lock that in.
Let's go final A to Z Patriots. I think there's some good teams though.
The others all scored 100 points less than the Colts and the Chicago Bears. That is weird to even say.
Yeah, I mean, Sexy Rexy had a hell of a year that season.
The Colts were expected to have offensive power, but the Bears surprised everybody with their offensive punch, scoring 427 points. Their defense only allowed 255.
Yeah, Bears were really good. All right, so 2-2, not a great start.
Let's go back to 2002. How many teams were in the playoffs in 2002, 2003, but did not qualify for the 2001, 2002 playoffs? So this is the year before. So new teams in the playoffs. Well, 2002, 2003 were Bucks Raiders. So actually, no, I can tell you most of these teams.
Okay.
At least in the NFC, the Bucks beat the 49ers. They were in there involved. They also beat the Philadelphia Eagles. They were involved. That was in the NFC Championship game. The Raiders that year
beat the Titans.
Right? This is going to be tough to piece together. Who did the Titans play that year in the playoffs?
They beat the Steelers. But this doesn't matter because we're doing like the year before.
Yeah, we were trying to find out how many teams were in the play. This is just a tough question. How many teams were in the playoffs in 2002, 2003, but did not qualify the year before?
We're doing the wrong year, though. I don't know.
Well, you have to know the playoff teams to know if they made it the year before. That's what I was trying to bring up.
Four. I have no idea. I think we did this backwards. I think we did the wrong year.
Well, do you? I mean,
I'm
know.
Confused. Five or the.
We got to go with the chat. This is a tough question.
I think we go 5. We've had 3, 4, and 5. So Orlando says 8. Michael says just go half with 6. Let's just do 5. I don't know. 5 final A to Z. It's a really tough question.
The correct answer is 5.
Oh.
Wow. Tennessee, Indianapolis, Cleveland, the Giants in Atlanta did not qualify for the previous year's playoffs.
All right. That we needed that one because that was
a steal.
That is just absolutely. All right. So we are 3-2 right now through 5 questions. We got to pick this thing up real quick. Let me tell you guys about the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, your region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Whenever you get hurt in life, make sure you know who to turn to. The folks in Franklin at the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org. Zach live with our Tuesday sports trivia, 3-2 through 5 questions. All right, let's get to question number 6.
What running back led the NFL in yards rushing in 1999? Adrian James, Stephen Davis, Marshall Faulk, or Curtis, my favorite, Martin?
Is it Adrian James?
1999 NFL leading rusher. Adrian James, Stephen Davis, Marshall Faulk, Curtis Martin.
Stephen Davis was a beast, man. I forgot about them. I don't think it was Falk because they were passing the ball so much.
Yeah.
I think it's Adrian James.
Which would be very impressive. Yeah, that's why he's a Hall of Famer, I guess.
Yeah. Steven Davis, man, he was so good. I think it's Edgerrin James. That's my gut. Lou man, I'm not blocking your comments. Stop saying I'm blocking your comments. They're just not good comments, so I don't read them. Edgerrin James, final A to Z. Let's do that.
1,553 yards. Wouldn't have even been third place in 1998. But Edgerrin James led the NFL in rushing in 1999.
Yep. All right, 4-2. Last sports question.
Which of the following statements is true about the 1992 AFC Championship game? You ready?
Nope.
The game was delayed an hour and a half due to lightning. Miami's Dan Marino threw 2 interceptions in the red zone. Buffalo's Bruce Smith had 7 tackles, 1.5 sacks, a forced fumble, and a blocked pass. Or Buffalo had more than 49 minutes time of possession.
Which is true?
Which of the following statements is true about the 1992 AFC Championship game? I'll repeat them one more time. Game was delayed an hour and a half due to lightning. Dan Marino threw 2 interceptions in the red zone. Bruce Smith had 7 tackles, 1.5 sacks, a forced fumble, and a blocked pass. Or Buffalo had more than 49 minutes time of possession.
We literally have answers for all of them but the Dan Marino interceptions. I think lightning delay is getting more and more popular as we go longer. I think we have to go lightning delay. I do remember watching it. I think it was in the Buffalo Bills 30 for 30 about this, but that's the only knowledge I have about this game. So let's go lightning delay, final A to Z.
Bruce Smith was the game's star. 7 tackles, 1.5 sacks, a forced fumble, and a blocked pass. They beat Miami 29-10.
Bummer. All right, 4-3. We struggled through our sports questions there.
Well, let's see if we know biology.
All right.
What human organ cleans 50 gallons of blood every day? The heart, the stomach, the liver, or the kidneys? It's got to be the heart or the liver. No, cleans the liver.
Kidneys. I was thinking kidneys. We're getting liver coming out. Kidneys is what came to my mind first. Cleans blood?
Cleans would be liver or kidneys.
We're getting liver. I just think it's kidneys because like when your kidneys start to fail, your blood can't get. Yeah, I think it's kidneys.
A blood transfusion helps your kidney.
You get dialysis to help
your
kidneys rotate out.
Yeah, it's
blood.
a kidney problem. Unfortunately, I do know that.
Yeah, same. We're getting a lot of livers though. Liver cleans the blood, y'all, says David.
Well, that's the whole thing with alcohol, right? Blood alcohol. Yeah, I think liver makes sense though. Liver makes more sense than kidneys.
All right, let's go liver, final A to Z.
Dang.
Did we kidneys?
Your kidneys filter 50 gallons of blood every day, producing
Titans Kyle, you screwed us up on this one after you helped us with the Seahawks player. Damn it.
So what are we at?
4-4. That was terrible. We should have known that. We let I will say I let the chat get me on that. I knew the answer, but the chat made me change my mind.
That's on the chat.
No, it's on me too. I made the final decision.
What illness accounted for 40% of the U.S. military casualties during World War I? Influenza, syphilis, gangrene, or smallpox? You'd think it would be gangrene. You know?
Yeah, I mean, David says gangrene. And then Bobby says the flu.
The flu is pretty prevalent. World War I was cold.
David says trench toe, which is where they got gangrene.
Trench toe.
That sounds like somebody who knows what they're talking about.
God bless.
Yeah. I mean, if you thought turf toe was bad. Scott says syphilis. We've got more syphilis answers coming in. Trench foot.
I think it's my first gut was gangrene.
But now Johnny says the Spanish flu. That was 1918, was the Spanish flu pandemic.
I think, okay, so I think we go with flu because it is casualties, right? Casualties is a death.
Yes.
Gangrene is amputation.
Right.
So I think influenza.
Yeah, I say flu final A to Z. I'm with you.
The flu killed 43,000 American servicemen, mobilizing World War I, representing nearly 40% of U.S. military casualties. 43,000 American servicemen.
Well, David says casualties are death plus injured or wounded. I've always thought casualties are deaths.
Well, it makes sense because it's a casualty.
They're no longer able to.
They're pup.
Yeah. PUP list. All right. So last question. We are now 5-4. Last question in the biology category.
What living animal has the heaviest brain? The black rhinoceros, the sperm whale, a human, or an African bush elephant? What living animal has the heaviest brain? A black rhinoceros, a sperm whale, a human, or an African bush elephant? Is it like a trick question where it's the human?
The human head weighs 11 pounds. What's the kid say in the damn movie with the sports agent that I can't think of the name right now?
You're talking about like the Tom Cruise sports agent?
Yeah. I can't think of the name of the movie right now. But
Show me the money.
Yeah, but the kid
Jerry
says
Maguire.
Jerry Maguire. The kid in Jerry Maguire says, like, did you know the human head weighs 11 or human brain weighs 11 pounds?
I think it's human. Sperm whales, I think, have small brains, but they're big animals.
So are everything else. The rhinos, elephants, sperm whales. I mean, come on.
Right, but a sperm whale is bigger.
Jonathan says it's not Todd Downing. Are we going to go with human?
I don't know.
This is a very arrogant answer if we go with human over the massive animals.
What do you want to do?
Oh, man.
Let's go human.
All right, you make the decision. You're going human final A to Z.
Oh, no.
I knew that wasn't going to be right.
Oh, man, it was the sperm whale. Average sperm whale's brain weighs more than 20 pounds, which is 4 times heavier than a human brain.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. What a terrible start to this.
We are 4 times more arrogant than the sperm whale, thinking that our brain is bigger than the sperm whale's brain.
That was brutal.
That's the worst trivia we've had in. I mean, we just basically did what the Titans did.
What was our final? 5 and
5
5?
and 5. Terrible.
We're not getting to 50 or to 80%.
No. Rough stuff. All right. Well, that's all we got for today. The Titans do have some media availability later on today because they play on Monday, but stay ready for that. And also Buck Rising live on A to Z Sports Primetime tonight, 8 p.m. Central Time. And we will see you guys tomorrow morning on a Wednesday where hopefully throwing shade is better than our Tuesday sports trivia. So have a great rest of your Tuesday. Talk to you soon. Thanks.